And we are live. Well, hello. Finally, we are there. So sorry for everyone that's been waiting around for the last half an hour trying to tune into our Paris and Bazcast. We had a lot of technical difficulties, but we learned a lot along the way and teamwork, and we got there in the end. So hello, Manjot Singh from Westhill Partners.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Good to see you back again. So the topic of discussion today is HomeBuilder Grant. A lot of speculation about it, isn't there?
Hello to everyone that's watching as well, eh?
Yeah, we've got an interesting one today. There's a lot of things we've got to discuss.
Yeah. So basically, the way that we're calling it is that dissecting and demystifying HomeBuilder's Grant based on the information that we have, and sort of just having a discussion of how exactly it works. We've obviously had a lot of questions from our clients that are wanting to see if they qualify. So let's hear from our accountant, home-based accountant, to talk about what the details that you know.
Yeah, look, guys, we've had a lot of questions too, and I want to start off by saying, look, the building council, the property council, and all the big builders out there were really pressing for this home builder grant from the government. You know, initially there were talks it's going to be 50K, it's going to be 10K, 20K. You know, it was all happening, but finally it has been decided. So it is a $25,000 cash incentive to anyone that's eligible. So how good's that?
That is good, but I guess the
pump to the economy, especially to the builders out there.
Yeah, but I guess the eligibility, what you have to do first to get that grant, I guess that's a $1 million question.
That was my next point, Lucas, because this thing is quite restrictive. There's a lot of caveats. You know, initially we thought it's going to be targeting, you know, the whole construction industry or anyone that wishes to buy or renovate, but there's a lot of restrictions. So I think we'll start off with the eligibilities. Let's get right into it. So the first one, and this one, a lot of people I've seen are skipping, and that is, you need to be a natural person, which means which means you can't be a company or a trust or a self-managed super fund.
Okay, I thought you couldn't be anything other than a human being. Okay.
Yeah, well, according to tax law, you know, and corporate law, you can be. So you can't buy residential property, you know, even if you intend to live in it under a company, under a trust, or whatever other structure you can think of. You have to be a natural person, and you have to treat that property as your principal place of residence.
There you go.
Okay. Yeah, because I've had a lot of questions, people saying, oh, can I buy it under a trust, under a company? And look, the answer simple is you can't. It's pretty straightforward. You have to buy it under your individual name.
Okay. So basically, obviously, so the first thing is that it has to be an owner-occupier property, so not an investment. So that's
absolutely
one question that we're talking offline during the week. I know that's a bit of a grey area. Did we manage to find out regarding if the customer already has a principal place of residence and they're purchasing another property, which is a principal place of residence, and converting the existing property into an investment property, are they still eligible for the grant?
We have found out as long as it's genuinely done, right? There's nothing in this particular, criteria list, eligibility list, that's preventing you or stopping you from doing what you're suggesting, right? Or whatever the client is suggesting. But look, like I just want to say, it can't be classified as an artificial scheme just to get this grant. You know, it has to be genuinely done. Another thing, which I'm not going to go into detail on, is there will be capital gains implications if a person was to treat their current investment property as a principal place of residence and the other property as an investment property. Capital gains will kick in, and how much kicks in, or what are the implications, you know, that's another topic.
Obviously it's very new, so based on the information that we have at hand, we are disclosing that to our clients, but I guess that it's a moving piece. It is going to evolve and change over time as we know more. So
it's still early days. The second one, and Gurdev's been calling me for the last couple of days and asking me this question. You know, I couldn't find anyone to call because it's still early days. They still haven't got a hotline or an email address where you could email and get your questions answered. But I've just finally managed to get a confirmation on that. So you need to be an Australian citizen. Okay. If you're going into this as a couple or more than two people, all of you have to be Australian citizens.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
So no PR,
No
Not
PR.
not even
residency,
one person.
and even if one partner is a Australian citizen, and the others on a partner visa or subclass A20, for example, they call it, they will not be eligible. Both
Yeah.
parties have to be Australian citizen, not even a permanent resident.
Yeah, like we have a lot of people in the community, and the wider community, you know, they'll have the wife or the husband on a PR or whatever other visa, and only one of them will be a citizen. Look, that is another restriction, and again, they're making a lot of people miss out in this. You both have to be Australian citizens.
That's a very big point. So just to make it clear, so all parties in the transaction have to be Australian citizen to be eligible for the grant.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Moving on, they've divided the caps into two things. The first one is an income cap, and there's a contract cap. So the income cap, you're only eligible for the home builder if as an individual you're earning less than $125,000, or as a couple you're earning less than $200,000. Okay. I've had a question: is it taxable income, gross income? I've got a confirmation on that. It is gross income before tax and excluding superannuation.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
So obviously, when you have tax, when there's taxable income, you know, you could have, your income could be more, but after the deductions, it reduces maybe to below these thresholds.
Yep.
But it's gross income. It has to be $125,000 for individuals, less than that figure, or $200,000 and less for couples. They're saying they're going to be looking at the 2019 or the 2020 tax return, right? Now, yep.
Prior to 2020, they'll look at 2019. After June 30,
So obviously June's
30
coming
June, they'll
now.
look at 2020. Yeah.
That's an interesting one. We've had that question too. What if, you know, we transact into this after June? So say from July onwards, are they going to look at the 2020 tax return or the 2019? Information suggests they will still look at 2019 or 2020. You know, so you've got the option of giving them the 2019 or the 2020 figure. But if that's going to change when the final criteria is it's pretty much finalized, you know. So but yeah, at the moment it's 2019 or 2020, regardless of when you enter into the contract.
Okay. So 125,000 individual, 200,000 as a couple gross income. So that's part one of the criteria. And the second part is
the contract cap. So if you're buying a new property, the value of your property, which combined with the house and land, has to be less than $750,000. Okay. Now they're obviously also allowing people to claim this home builder if they're doing renovations. Renovations have to be a minimum of $150,000, maximum $750,000, but only on a property that is valued less than 1.5 million.
Pre-renovation.
Yeah. So there are so many barriers in that, like in the last, I think in the last two sentences.
Exactly. So basically, you've got to have 150,000 lying around to invest, to spend in your own principal place of residence before you can get $25,000 back at the end, like after you've applied for it.
And you got to make sure your property is valued less than 1.5 million.
So you're spending 150,000 to get, like, to have a discount in a way of 25,000 eventually, the money that comes back into your pocket.
Yes, absolutely. Look, you know, people or parties that are speaking against this, that's exactly what they're saying. You know, all well and good with the new build less than 750, but for renovations, they could have eased off a bit and could have allowed renovations of a lower dollar value, you know. Because like you said, if someone's going to go out there and spend $150,000 first, it has to be very extensive, right? And if someone's got $150,000, I'm sure, you know, people are saying they would have that $25,000 as well.
Yeah, that's right. And it's also about capitalizing as well, like whether that's going to add value equivalent to that or more in a particular area. So that's the other thing too.
On the property value. So gotta make sure.
Yeah, and the other thing is, look, if someone is spending $150,000, obviously they will be speaking to an experienced, or I think a big builder who is able to do such huge renovations.
That's right.
What about the low end builders who are actually struggling because of the coronavirus, right? But they may not have the experience, or people might not transact with them to build or renovate something of that nature. Then it's so the money. So they're not really, they won't be really getting into business. It's only the bigger end of the town.
Yeah, so it's helping those established builders that already have a well-going business, as opposed to those that are, more the strugglers or the lower end. So
because what's been said is only those builders will actually be able to or be experienced enough to do something of that nature on your property, and only you'll be able to only trust them with everything, including insurances and whatnot.
And I guess the other thing that we've also heard is that some of the builders will be pushing up the contract price just to qualify for that, which do they just end up pocketing that extra, or there's going to be all sorts of interesting schemes. So it's
there is a caveat around that. Look, they're saying when they're going to assess your application, they're obviously going to look at what exactly you're renovating and the price that you've put on the stuff that you're renovating, right? So, and they will be comparing this with fair market value. So the transaction has to take place at arm's length. There can't be negotiations where you say to the builder, "I lift my price just for me to get this grant."
Yeah.
Obviously, when the State Revenue Office goes to approve your application, they will be checking that in detail. Just want to point that.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's the eligibility. And then what else? So the criteria.
The criteria. The important one is to mention the contract to build or the contract to renovate has to take place. So take place means you need to sign that contract between the 4th of June this year and the 31st of December this year. Okay. Again, this is a very short-term boost to the economy through this construction industry. So it's only for the next 6 months, so to speak.
So those that are signed, I mean, the work can commence later on if needs be.
I think it's
the work
3 months.
Yeah, you're right, Gurdev. Yeah, so the work has to commence within 3 months.
Okay.
Right. So
even if you do it on the 31st of December, you have got to the 31st of March to actually commence the work.
Yes, that's right. And I'm not sure at the moment what sort of things they're going to check, whether you've commenced work or not. Are they going to verify with the builder, or you're just going to go get a shovel there and dig something up, and that's commencement of work.
Yeah.
So, but it's got to commence within 3 months of the build contract. The build contract, again, I want to mention, has to be signed between the 4th of June and the 31st of December this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And how do you claim it? Where do you go to, to qualify?
So this is administered or managed through the state revenue offices. So if in New South Wales, you have the Office of State Revenue of New South Wales. In Victoria, they have their own state revenue office.
Yeah.
The parties are yet to sign. So the state revenue officers are yet to sign a national partnership agreement with the federal government. So they need to sign that first, and that's when each of the state revenue officers will come up with their own set of application forms.
Yeah.
And obviously, websites as to where you can go and apply. I do want to mention that if you think you are eligible or you will be applying for this, in the next 6 months, and you go to your state revenue, for example, in New South Wales, you go to the State Revenue of New South Wales website.
Yeah.
There's a section where you can put down your name and email address and subscribe to updates. So they'll keep sending you updates. So as soon as the application is available, you'll get an email saying it's available, and so you can get in there.
So at this stage, it's not ready. So obviously, anyone that signed contracts as of the 4th of June, they just got to keep that ready to go once the application form comes in, and it's going to be paid out afterwards anyway, isn't it? Like once the work is completed.
Yeah, a related question here is people are saying, can you use it as a deposit? Look, you can't use it as a deposit. They're going to give it to you after the fact. So after all the council plans have been finalized, you've started to build, that's when you can apply. Then after applying, how long they'll take to approve the application. Okay. So you could sign the building contract today, get your settlement done today, but it could be 3-4 months easy from now before you actually get your hands on this $25,000. So no, you can't use that 25,000 against the deposit
Of the contribution,
yeah.
So you really have to use your own money
and get
up front, and then hope for that, wait for that.
It's normally the way with the normal $10,000 grant that works is normally at the slab stage, first progress payment stage. That's when
so people who are missing on some sort of a deposit, they haven't got a deposit lying around, they're relying on this $25,000. I mean, don't rely on that, because you'll still need the money in your pocket at settlement. You'll get the refund for the $25,000, but that'll be at a later stage.
Yeah. Something that you get at the end.
Very good.
There you go.
So
look, again, we do want to mention owner builders are not eligible, right? Investment properties are not eligible, okay? And you can't just get contractors and do the renovation on your property. The new building, obviously, and the renovations have to be done through a licensed builder. Okay.
There's lots of checks.
There's a lot out there. And you have to have a licensed builder that can undertake the work, and they will be confirming in your application whether you've done this through a licensed builder. They'll check the building license, whether the builder has insurances, and all of that stuff.
And all of those information is something that you ask anyway at the beginning, obviously if it is a well-reputable builder, that that they would have all of that anyway. But if it is something that you're requesting of them, that is something that, as a due diligence, anyone that's taking on such a contract should be asking for those license details, ensure that they are registered still and, are current. We've seen a lot of, ABN checks that we've done, which at ASIC, which have, expired and whatnot. So
that's basically in the customer's best interest anyway, so to have that all valid.
Absolutely. So the things they'll be checking in the application at the moment, I know they'll be checking obviously your proof of identity, the ownership. So you as an individual own the property. The copy of the builder's contract, copy of the builder's license, your 2019 or 2020 tax return, council approvals, and who knows, there may be more information they ask of you. And each of the state officers may come up with additional information that they may request from you.
Okay. Well, interesting. Well, there you go. Look, if there's any questions, feel free to ask them while we are live. And if we don't answer them right now, we're happy to come back to you and reach out individually.
Two things before we go is, look, they're saying there's no limit to how many people can apply for this grant, right? But they've put a budget of $680 million. If you divide that by $25,000 to each person, you get about 27,000 people, right? So they haven't yet said once 27,000 people get the 25G, whether they're going to stop this or not. I'm just putting it out there. They may, then they may have to look at, increasing the budget or stopping the scheme altogether. So people that are asking, do I have to, is it first come, first serve? At the moment, no. But if things do change, we don't know yet.
So it depends on the capacity and how many applications they get.
And the $25,000 will not be taxed. That was the other question.
Okay, so that income is
tax-free.
Tax-free. Tax-free income.
Interesting. So I guess it's quite a small proportion of population that's going to benefit from it.
And to add another restriction here. Before we forget that one, you can't, whatever you're renovating or building, has to be connected to your property. That was the
it can't be a detached dwelling. So
flat. You can't put a granny flat.
No. You can't put a granny flat unless you've got a wall that's connecting to the main building.
There you go. So, $150,000 on a property, that's an extensive renovation.
Especially if property value is 1.5 million less. You could imagine on the $2, $3, $4 million houses, but
so swimming,
If you think about it, like, there's the income test, and then there's the, being able, the expenditure test. How many, like, obviously this seems to be benefiting those, it should, like, who has $150,000 lying around that is in that sort of lower income bracket. Anyway, so it'd be interesting to see the take up of it, what the numbers come up. I mean, there was a stat that there's only 3% of Australians that have 150,000 or more in savings.
Yeah, you're right. Look, obviously people, you know, on lower income, although they're eligible from an income point of view, the income eligibility criteria, but they don't have money lying around.
That's right.
Then people who do have money lying around and they are needing a renovation, the high end of the market, even they can't, because it's capped at the 1.5 million.
That's right. So the property value.
So if you're in a situation, I think give us a call. We'll do equity cash out of your mortgage.
So they're targeting the middle market, but again, it's very limited whether this really is going to have an impact on economic growth. I'm not sure, because you know it's not that extensive.
That much of a dent in the market.
Yeah, and they're saying because it's short term. What about from 2021, when the market probably will still be struggling? What happens then?
Yeah, I'm sure they'll release
something else
until then. But yeah, there you go. That's interesting. So look, looking forward to seeing the results, or you know what sort of the
interesting how it pans all out in the next couple of months, and see the take up, how many numbers, and I think that'll probably become more.
So applications haven't opened. You know, obviously clients can contact you guys or myself and get more information. We'll have updates when they open, but I think we're at least a month away before application forms do come up.
Yeah.
There
you go. Any final words before we finish?
No. I think look, obviously, you know, if you are eligible, then go for it, and if you have further questions, just let us know.
Absolutely. Perfect. Well, thank you so much for your time once again, and I think it might be worth getting you back on for end of financial year sort of advice. I think I was just thinking about thinking out loud, you know, because end of financial coming up, new financial year, obviously with all the benefits that you can take advantage of with the instant asset write-off and whatnot.
Apparently that's been extended to end of December this year as well. I was reading.
So it'll be good to get a bit of a recap there. So I think we'll be catching up with you again.
All right. See you guys soon.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right. Bye.